How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. So yes, it is time to break down the second part of the semifinals for the Champions Cup, and the game is Bordeaux versus Toulouse. So before I continue, please like and subscribe. It really helps my channel grow, and a lot of people that watch my content are not currently subscribed. So if you are enjoying the content, please hit that like button and subscribe. Now let's break down the game, because this game is sure to be fire. We have two of the best teams in France at the moment. They have some of the best talent in the world. We did see how France played in the Six Nations. And when you have players like Damien Penaud, you have players like Louis Bielbiaré, also known as Le Beep Beep, playing for Bordeaux. Then you have players like Julien Marchand. You have players like Blair Kinghorn. You have players like Pieter Malvaca, and you can just run through a list of players that play for both teams, predominantly for France, but are just absolutely immense. And obviously, we can't forget a giant like Jacques Willis, who has been adopted by the French, and the guy, he's been playing his absolute socks off. So it's going to be interesting to see how both of these teams come out. Um, the last meeting between the two, Bordeaux actually came out on top. Yes, Toulouse, they weren't exactly playing a full strength squad, and I do feel that not having Antoine Dupont is affecting them. Although we look at their last performance, how much is it really affecting them? They did have, I think it was Saito playing at scrum half, but they do have a lot of players, a lot of elite level players that can fill in for a lot of these players. I mean, just look at Thomas Ramos. He can either play at 15, he can play at 10. You do have Romain Intermac as well. There's a lot of talent that is there. When you have a center like Barassi, who's just an absolute monster going through that center, it is very difficult to choose between the two, because even you look at Bordeaux, they have players like Gael Ficou, who again, we got to see a little bit of him at the end of the Six Nations. We know just how much of a monster Gael Ficou is, and how scary he is when he starts to get on a roll, right? It's, how can you choose between both? You can't. It's really going to come down to the day. It's going to be who comes out more prepared. If we look at the last 5 meetings, um, Bordeaux actually have 3 wins to Toulouse 2. They, Bordeaux actually have a slightly better record up against um, Toulouse than in recent history. So it's going to come down to which players are playing. Obviously, both teams have been preparing, and pretty soon we are going to be seeing full force squads on show. Both teams are going to want to get to the finals and potentially play, whether it's the Northampton Saints or Leinster, come through at the final. Either way, it's going to be a spectacular game. But which team is going to win? And it's going to come down to who controls the breakdown. This is just my opinion. Whoever's able to control the breakdown, whoever's able to jackal just that little bit quicker, just that little bit faster, because we've seen how quickly these players are able to work straight off the breakdown. If you're able to, if Bordeaux is able to slow down Toulouse just enough, right? If they're able to get through to that ball just that little bit quicker than Toulouse, we could see a completely different game. If you are able to shut down Toulouse and shut them down relatively early, you have a very good shot. The moment Toulouse start getting into their rhythm, once they start running their phase play, they become very difficult to handle. Especially you look at the likes of Jack Willis, the intensity that he plays with, the tackles that he makes, they are so important. They are so crucial. His carrying with the ball is very crucial as well. So you look at their back row, you look at their forwards, you look at their backs, how they all play in sync. Now, this is something that Antoine Dupont normally does very well in terms of linking up the forwards to the backs, right? He uses his time, he uses his space, and he uses his array of talent to be able to break down defenses, find those little gaps, and really make people work. Right? Toulouse are going to be without that. So Bordeaux are a very, very strong team. If they cannot be broken, if they're able to play their game, Toulouse is going to have a very, very long day. But if Bordeaux is not able to nullify your players like your Malvakas, your Jack Willises, it's going to be a very long day for Bordeaux because, like I say, once Toulouse start getting into their rhythm, once they start finding that flow, because the moment you get to that breakdown, you know that they are recycling that ball immediately. There's immediate assistance. People are on there. They're going to want to keep a high pace, high pressure game. They're going to want to wear down that Bordeaux team, because when it comes to around that 50, 60th minute, you are going to see monsters come on. You're going to see forwards just stack, and they're going to break you down physically, and they're going to make it a game of attrition if they are not already 30, 40, 50 points above you. How do you stop Toulouse in their tracks? This is the thing, and this is something that Bordeaux actually managed pretty well in their last meeting. But can they replicate it in the Champions Cup? Because as we've seen with Northampton, the Premiership to the Champions Cup, for them, it's night and day, right? But again, I believe the Saints have kind of given up on the Premiership. They're focusing more on the Champions Cup. And I imagine the same for Toulouse. They are already pretty well in front on top of the top 14. Obviously, anything's possible. There's only a couple games left. Toulouse ideally would like to win both the Champions Cup and the top 14. But it's going to be difficult. How do you balance it? Are they going to go full out on the Champions Cup and potentially let themselves suffer a bit in the Premiership, or are they just going to go full out, head for both, get the most points they possibly can out of the final games, run the players ragged? Honestly, I think they might. I truly do think they might. But it comes down to this weighing your risk to reward. If a player like Jack Willis gets injured, that's a big problem. If a player like Ntamak gets injured, that's a problem. If a player like Tomo Ramos gets injured, that's a very big problem. But when you have the likes of your Blair Kinghorn, who you can practically play anywhere around the back, that's handy to have. And a lot of the Toulouse players are very versatile and they can play in multiple positions, which definitely does help. But I don't know. I want to hear what you guys have to say in relation to this. What kind of squad do you think they're going to play? Obviously, we are still a couple of days away from them releasing both squads, but I can't choose between the two. I truly do feel this is going to be a tight affair. I don't think Bordeaux or Toulouse are going to run away with it. They are both too good. They are both too strong. And the way that they like to recycle the ball is really fast. So I do think there's going to be a big battle at the breakdown. There's going to be a lot of jackling going on. There's going to be a lot of fighting. Whoever is able to control the breakdown, whoever's able to control just that few seconds, I do feel that they're going to come out on top. So I'm going to predict, and you guys might hate me for this, and as much as I love Toulouse, I don't even want to say it, I'm going to go for Bordeaux to win, and I'm going to give it by a penalty. A penalty. Penalty is going to be the difference. Last time I said this, I was so wrong, but I think a penalty is going to be the difference. And I do believe the LBI is going to bag himself 2 tries. I truly do believe he's going to bag himself 2 tries. So before I leave, actually, think something that popped into my head. A little thing about Bran Habana. And this is actually another question that I want to ask you guys. If you manage to get through to this point in the video, who do you think is faster? Bial Biaye or Brian Habana? in his heyday, the day that he was racing cheetahs, when he was racing aeroplanes, 747s. Who is faster? I'm going to pin this in the comment section below. I want to hear what your guys' thoughts are on this. And I want to know, who do you think is faster? Who runs it faster? In play, in game. I'm not talking in a track. I'm talking in game. Who's faster? Brian Habana, Prime Habana, or BLBRA? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.